Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Eckdale, pastor of St. Mark's Lutheran Church, host of Mosaic. We have a wonderful guest here this morning, Bishop Marc Andrus of the Episcopal Diocese of California. Welcome, Bishop Andrus.
Thank you.
We've heard about your Southern roots and how your parents have shaped some of your progressive values. But the South is a long way from the Bay Area, and I'm curious why God chose you to be the bishop here in this diocese, and why did you choose to come here?
The sense of call, that's what you're referring to,
right.
Is a very powerful idea, that we don't just simply make choices, that there's more woven into the universe than our individual hopes and desires and accidents. And when I was nominated, to be Bishop of California. As I said, it's a democratic process. There were 7 candidates. And before the candidate list was announced, my wife and I, Sheila and I, took 3 days off of work, and we used our minds and we prayed and used our spirits to sort through several options, not just California. And because I was nominated for several things at once, I thought it was unfair to just passively let the processes unfold. In other words, somebody might be better suited for a particular position than I, but if I just stayed in it, and then once I was slotted in for one, somebody else might have been eliminated from another. So at the end of that 3 days, we felt very strongly called to California, and I called the other places I had been nominated and withdrew from all those. But I still wasn't on the final list here, so it could have been, it was like walking off of a precipice.
Yep.
We didn't know if we would be chosen. We didn't know how the election would go. It's a very public process.
Yes.
Election of a bishop is, we have what are called walkabouts. So 5 different churches here in the Bay Area hosted each one a walkabout, and over 1,000 people in that week came and asked questions, and then they had the election 2 weeks later.
What was the toughest question that someone asked you in those walkabouts? Do you recall?
Oh, that's a great question. There were the American South and the Bay Area are, in many people's minds, polar opposites.
Yeah.
And of course, it's the Bible Belt. And one of the questions I was asked is, "You're coming from the Bible Belt. What are you bringing to the Bay Area?"
Good question.
And I said, "Well, how about the Bible?"
Yeah.
But not as a a weapon. And not as something literally true, but as something living and beautiful. And not that it wasn't here. It was kind of a funny answer, but it's serious in the way that I take our sacred scriptures to be a source of life. In the way, here we are in this matrix of many religions living together here in the Bay Area. It's such a rich gift to all of us. And our brother and sister religions outside of Christianity take their scriptures very, very seriously. I find that mainline denominations in the Bay Area are a little wary about the Bible. And there's good reason. They have been tarred in the public understanding with the brush of intolerance. And people who do use the Bible wield it as a tool, a weapon against people. And so they don't want to be associated with that.
Right.
In so doing, we've kind of backed away from this source of God speaking to us through the scriptures as powerfully.
Yeah, is it fair to say that it might be different to be the bishop here in the Bay Area as in other parts of the country? And what particular gifts have you brought in your service here as bishop?
Well, I find the Episcopal Church everywhere I go, the 82 congregations here in the Bay Area, but also diocese to diocese all over the Episcopal Church, to be, on the one hand, very diverse. We have Chinese congregations, we have black congregations, we have poor and rich congregations, we have primarily gay congregations, but at the bottom level, I find that there is a charism, a quality to the Episcopal Church that's the same everywhere.
So, and what is that?
Well, I'm not claiming it as exclusive. You know, the Lutherans we're very, very close in many ways, but there's a certain generosity. In terms of spirit, it's different than tolerance. Tolerance is a higher to lower idea. I tolerate you from a place of height or privilege. I think it's more curiosity and appreciation and a sense of the dignity of everyone that God has made. And I find this everywhere in the Episcopal Church. I found it in Alabama. I find it here. I think obviously there are spectrum differences. You can go to some dioceses in the Episcopal Church and find people who would be politically aligned very differently than most people here. But at that sort of basic level, we've stayed together through I became a bishop as the Episcopal Church went into its most intense struggle over human sexuality. I was privileged to be part of that struggle, and we stayed together as a church. Yes, some people left, but as a church, we kind of moved forward together through that 10 years of struggle. It was remarkable.
You've been a leader in the LGBTQ movement here, too. Probably one of the reasons why you were elected, would you say?
I doubt it.
Okay.
Certainly I was known for being progressive, but there were openly gay partnered people in the election with me.
Yeah.
In fact, it was a surprise.
You were surprised you were elected?
I was definitely surprised. I think the world that was paying attention was surprised as well.
Why do you think you were elected?
I think it has to do with connection. The other candidates were really wonderful, but I did have this sense as the week went on during those walkabouts of truly feeling seen and understood and feeling the same. I felt this deep connection.
That's a good place to pause, and we'll come back in just a moment to connect with our bishop. Thank you.